Hello, my name is Malaika Ndabaga, and today I'm with Chris KAYIT. And I'm sure you're well aware we'll be talking about, but for our viewers' sake, we'll be talking about AI and daily activities of digital artists, or genuinely in the digital and creative sector. So, Chris, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Walk us through what you do on a personal level, career-wise, and everything. Okay.
I hope I can remember most of it. My name is Christian KAYIT. My, I guess, social media name is Chris KAYIT. I just kind of shorten it a little bit. I am a cinematographer by trade, shooting documentaries, shooting commercials. My profession is mostly in impact storytelling, so a lot of documentary, and hopefully we'll see myself into fiction. I'm not a big fan of fiction, but it's also part of the craft. And luckily, you know, processes like AI have been in place now to sort of facilitate, to expand on an idea that one can have. So, and I guess we're gonna dive deeper into that. I live in Rwanda, moved back about a year ago, and I love it.
You love it.
And yeah, is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you briefly touched on, you know, what you do. Identify yourself as a cinematographer. So from what I know, you're also a licensed drone operator. You are a director of photography.
Yes.
So I take it you're, you know, on set and on ground a lot. So you must, of course, have seen the adaptations, the growth over the years of tech, of gadgets and whatnot, the internet, and most newly, we've seen how AI has kind of infiltrated our daily lives, our careers. So could you please walk me through how you see AI has reshaped the process of digital artists, you know, especially in your field, or anything that you might genuinely have knowledge in? Yeah.
Like I was saying, right? It's we have processes like ChatGPT now. I can legitimately wake up this morning and be like, I want to make a film about palm trees in Rwanda. And I'll type that idea in ChatGPT. And ChatGPT and I can go back and forth until we develop an actual sequential film that I can tell about palm trees. That could come with maybe find out more on when they were planted, how they come. Is Rwanda even a place where palm trees grow? And whatnot. So that has become such a big tool in the industry, including even visualization, right? If you don't know, to some people, it freaks them out that AI has come out, and they're feeling like, we're gonna lose a lot of jobs, or you know, they're threatened by it. But the reality is, it's a tool that's here to support us, and I enjoy it. I love it, right? Before AI, I believe a lot of people just spend some time thinking, sitting down, meetings over meetings over meetings. I have nothing against meetings, but I love meetings that last just about 15 minutes.
Okay.
When you get me out of the 15 minutes, I'm kind of like,
that's a short span, don't
yes,
you think?
yes, it's very short, but I kind of feel like if we're talking about something that grow, that 15 minutes can get us to a point where we can go and sort of grow
Jump
even
into
further.
action.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So that being said, these tools have come into position for me to actually even be prepared, or for something that I want to present, or something that I want to work with, right? So like I was saying about the palm trees or any other story, you go into ChatGPT, you have this chat with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to help you develop the story, tell you how you can shoot it and stuff. Even further, other tools that could visualize and create sort of like storyboards for you.
Yeah.
And then you actually have an actual sequence to follow that potentially facilitates your job when you get on the field and you start shooting, right? Even further, technology has grown into the cameras or the lights and whatnot. All this stuff you can control by phone right now, right? So if you have an app, you can control the intensity of light. You can all that stuff. It's just like it's facilitated and has helped tremendously the industry, I feel like.
Okay.
Back when the film industry ever started, a lot of what was happening, they used to measure. You used to be on set with a measuring tape, so that you measure focus, right? So where the camera is and the subject, people used to either use a line or tape, and then they would note it down on the camera. And when they move, so they would put tape. They're called T marks, right? They put T marks where someone's standing and where they're gonna end up. So they measure from the first T mark, and then they measure to the second T mark, and then so that they know where to take the focus. Right now, autofocus is doing everything. You ain't gotta do it. So all you have to do is just tap on somebody's face. The camera's gonna follow them where it need be. So I feel like AI has honestly tremendously helped the industry, and I think it continues even further.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people that are afraid, to be honest. I feel like there's something you can't bring to AI, and that's the human side of things, right? If I say, all right, cool, ChatGPT, write me a film and then develop it. This film is shot in Nyungwe, per se. ChatGPT is gonna go and find all these images online, maybe even create these images. But you and I both know ChatGPT is not gonna create a Rwandan. Or they're gonna look fake. They're gonna look like they're a cartoon or something. It might happen, I don't know where technology is going, but in reality, it just there's this human side of telling a story that I think still stands with the humans, and these are just tools to get us across faster. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That was a mouthful.
I agree. Most of the part, they're here to support us.
Yeah.
They're here to quicken everything. But I don't really think the quickest way or the fastest way is always the best, because most people take it as it narrows our thinking.
Yeah.
You talked about how you're gonna maybe give it a prompt. You're gonna prompt it, help me develop this in this script, or maybe this in this concept, or maybe put in your own. It's gonna advance it and whatnot. Don't you think, as the humans, we created AI, so we're highly capable. Don't you think our capacity level is going to reduce to a certain degree because we've become maybe so much reliant on it? Most people these days can't write emails. Most people can do their schoolwork without AI. Most people just think AI is ChatGPT. We have we have Napkin. We have what's the one with the images? The one that brings images.
There are a bunch of them. There's Claude.
This is really popular one. I forgot what its name, but
there's Gamma.
Yeah, there's Gamma for the slides. So that alone, people mainly concentrate on ChatGPT, and it has a lot more to offer.
Yeah.
But then again, is it really not narrowing our skill set down?
Yeah. I think there's that aspect, but I also feel like I don't know if it's so much narrowing it down or maybe expanding it, because you can do so much in a span of what initially used to be little, right? So you spent 5 hours creating slides that you're going to present at a meeting. When you have the notes, you have everything ready, you go into Gamma makes a presentation for you, and then you go and customize it. That has taken you potentially 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes, you have something ready. It sits down. You move on and do other things.
Yeah, I agree.
So the reason I keep saying is the tools to help us. I think, yes, people can become reliant, and I've seen it multiple times where somebody goes and slaps an email into ChatGPT. They don't read it. They just send it. That's a problem. But then now, I don't wanna call names, but that's also kind of completely lazy.
It is lazy.
Because you're not. Yes, give a prompt. It's a machine, like you said. Humans created it. It's a machine to support you. Give it a prompt. It's gonna give you guidance to come back, customize the email, and then be able to send the email so that it actually sounds like you.
Yeah.
That's something that's kind of been funny. The other thing I feel like it's being able to do so much. I think it's tremendously helpful. Reason being, then we're gonna see development happen fast, right? If people adapt to it, to be honest. If something that was taking me a day to create, even in the film industry, if something that was taking me a week or a month to write a script, right? And it could potentially now take me a week, right? I can sit down, prompt the script of what I'm thinking about, and ChatGPT and I can go back and forth.
Yeah.
Or any other AI tool can go back and forth until I have an actual script. And this could be a 300-page script, right? An hour-long film. And we can go back and forth until I sort of narrow it down to exactly what the story is that I want to tell. When I have this script, it's taken me about a week. I didn't have to lose my brain, right? It's taken me about a week. We've created something. It sits there. Now I go back and upload the same script and say, give me some storyboards.
Yeah.
Not all the storyboards are going to come the way you're looking for. Again, you have to task it. You have to prompt it, right? But what I'm saying is, storyboards would normally take days. Your hands would hurt by drawing.
Your brain would hurt.
Your brain would hurt.
Yeah.
But now it's facilitated, and even farther, you have everything ready for you to then start shooting within 3 days or 4 days, right? And then the work happens, right? And then I feel like the writers have now a bubble where, you know, they call it a writer's block. When somebody has a writer's block, they can't write.
It hurts.
And when you have a tool like that, that is a machine that can go back and forth, you just tell it an idea, and it opens up that block. I feel like I don't know, I just feel like it's amazing, right?
I'm a writer, I have lots of writer's block, and that really helps. Because you might have a spark, but then it sets the fire. It's like, yes, now that's you know, there are times you can hold a conversation with a human, and then sort of holding it with a machine that has data and access to the internet, actual research in a matter of seconds is going to make a big difference. Hence, we can just immediately jump into the work. I agree.
Absolutely.
So in directly your field, how do you humanize, if I may call it humanizing, or maybe maintain originality of your work? To you mentioned something about how you may prompt something and the images may just have a bit look and feel to it that's just more cartoonish or you know, AI. So how do you maintain the originality and the humaneness of your work, like all the way through from scripting to developing an idea to a set? So how do you maintain that?
Great question. I use these tools specifically to guide each other, pretty much. A while ago, I would, sit down, for example, talk to a nonprofit organization. They're like, yeah, we raise funds to build schools and whatnot, right? And I'll understand that idea, and I'll sit down with it and try to figure out where exactly can I get the emotion? How can I really communicate this emotion? How can I help them fundraise, make a lot more money? And that would normally come from the impact, right? It normally actually comes from the impact. Now I go in, write about their story, and then I go, who should we interview? ChatGPT is going to be like, okay, cool. We can start with the owner of the organization, and then we could go to this person and that person. And I'm like, but no, this person, I'm not doing the impact. I want to hear from the people that have been impacted. Okay, cool. You can go with the students, or you can go with the families whose families have been impacted, and and then you exchange ideas. And what all that does to me is just now gives me guidance, right? Guidance. So if I get up and go to Karongi and I'm shooting this documentary, I know that I'm going to start with Alphonse, and then I'm going to follow up with, Janine, and I'm going to follow up. And then I'm going to make sure that all the B-roll that I'm shooting also lives around what, this tool has kind of, helps me. And obviously when you get there too, you start to see other things that AI is not going to see. So it's your eyes. Now you
Most
start to train your eyes, and then that's what retains the originality. You're also able to tell the story when you're in it, right? You start with all these prompts, but when you get there and you're facing it, then you're potentially able to tell the story because you can see things right in front of you.
Okay. That's really cool. You're kind of, if I may say, a big dog, or maybe one who
I don't know about that.
or maybe been in
Yeah.
the game for a long
Yeah,
term.
yeah.
So, what advice would you give to your fellow digital artists or
Yeah.
maybe creatives in this industry or other industries when it comes to embracing or walking around
Yeah.
or embedding AI into
Yeah.
their work or anything?
Yeah. Just as well as to myself, this advice I'd give to myself is continue studying, right? Don't limit yourself.
Don't get comfortable.
Don't get comfortable. That's it. Don't get comfortable. Study and create. Study and create. Sometimes money can become an element.
Mm-hmm.
And when money becomes an element, it completely detaches you from, your creativity and your goals. If you've said, I want to be a filmmaker, and then you shoot one wedding and they pay you 4 million, and you're like, okay, cool, I can make 4 million just in a weekend shooting a wedding. Cool, I'll shoot another wedding next weekend, and then the next weekend.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting at, 40 million. It's become something you're chasing, and maybe that's not potentially what you wanted to do in the first place. You
Yeah.
said you wanted to be a filmmaker, not a
But
wedding.
that's where the money's at, really.
Right. It's like the money is one element, but then it completely takes away the creativity side of things. Because once money becomes a motivation, and I always say this, right? Like, you guys have a very nice office, you have very nice tools around here, and you have a team that's working here, and I'm sure they're all getting paid. But to me, what's more important is what they're working with, right? I can get paid $2,000, but I work with gear that's maybe $10,000.
Yeah.
And if I work with this gear really well and correctly, I can potentially make myself even more.
Yeah.
But that always comes from what I've acquired from these tools.
Yes.
If I stand out and you appreciate my style, that's because of the time that I put in it. It's not the investment of money. It's the brain, it's the knowledge, it's the studying. It's
the
not
skill
getting
set.
comfortable. Yeah. And using these tools, now these tools are made it so easy. You can sit down and say, I like moody stuff, and I want all my films to look moody. What do you suggest, right? They'll go down to the T, telling you how to set up your lighting, how to set up your tone, how to set up your audio. All that is studying. Go back and practice it, right?
Yeah.
You're not making money instantly, but go back and practice
It's
it.
a long-term investment, sort of.
Always,
Yeah.
because that is the only thing you can live with, right? Because of lack of better example, COVID happened. People weren't getting married. So you've been making your 4 million every weekend
Yeah.
shooting a wedding, and
Yeah.
now boom, the world
I know.
goes through
Yeah.
something, and now you're not making it. But because you didn't put a lot of practice into it, I have nothing against wedding photographers and wedding videographers. By the way, that's a skill on its own.
Yeah.
Some people really understand that, and some people even also make it so beautiful that I enjoy to watch. I don't do it, right? I'm right deep into my documentary route. But when the world shuts down, what I was thinking in the moment was, oh, wait a minute, all these cities are empty. This would be cool that if I go around these cities and get footage, eventually nobody was ever going to believe that the world
Was
was
once like
empty,
this. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was just buildings and stuff. Every place has a sign that says closed, closed, closed. So when I did that, I went and did that not because I was motivated, or I went and did that because I was thinking I could use this in a story somehow,
Yeah.
right? And we've all seen films where there's apocalypse where cities just go completely
Blank shutdown. Yeah.
voila. So the advice that I would give to myself too is continue investing in the craft that you've chosen. And it can be whatever it is. And these tools are here to just support you get there, right? Continue investing in it. Never let money is a great motive. It's a great motivation. Amazing. But it's a tool too to help you get the gear that you're looking for. It's a tool to help you with comfort. Pay rent, pay all these things, but it's not gonna buy you your craft. It's not gonna buy you your knowledge. It's not gonna buy you your skill. At the end of the day, you gotta put in the work, right? So And at most times too, like when you invest in that craft, in that skill, and you become so good at it where you're irreplaceable, money follows you.
Your monopoly.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not following the cash. The cash is following you. So I think the most important thing is not to be comfortable and continue to focus on what you can create and create as much as you can. Create as much as you can. We have all. It's my friend calls it a blank canvas. But we have all these tools. We have YouTube. We have Instagram. We have Facebook, if it still exists.
It does. It does.
We have all these platforms where you can put your work.
Yeah.
And not putting your work out for validation. No. It's also a measure to show yourself how far you've come, right? You start by shooting highlight reels, and then you're like, okay, I've done quite enough highlight reels. I'm moving on. Now I'm going to go shoot weddings. You do weddings, you get to a point you're like, okay, cool, I've done my weddings. Now I really want to make some music videos. Boom, you get into music videos. So all that journey, wherever you're posting it, without paying attention to, oh, how many views did I get? How many likes did I get? Because that also is a bad motivation, right? Because then you're looking for validation in the world. And if the world doesn't give you validation, you just shut down.
Yeah.
You don't produce, you don't create, you just like, oh, nobody really likes my stuff, maybe I'm in the wrong field. No, you're not. You're actually practicing, you're actually getting yourself farther. Even better, like I said, AI is here now to even support. So use every tool that's presented in this world to get to the next level. And then to get to the next level with skill, not with anything else, right? So that's I think the advice I would give to myself and to anybody else that is in this craft.
We hope you noted that down. Mainly
There's
invest in yourself, in your skill set, in your knowledge, specifically for the field that you're in, for the field that you want to be in, and level up. Stop being in the comfort zone, really.
Yeah.
So
And goes without saying, I think also specialization.
Specialization.
You said you're a writer, right?
Yeah.
Writers make a lot of money. So much money in Hollywood. Specialize in that. Spend time with that. Study new techniques of writing. Study how, if I sat down and read a piece of paper that you wrote, you can take me through the emotion. You can make me laugh. You can make me cry. You can study, understand the writing craft and become the best at it. Or if you want to be a photographer, understand the photography craft. Be the best at it. Film, same. If you want to be a producer, understand the producing craft. There's all these tools, again, to help you get to that level. But I feel like specialization is one thing that I haven't seen around the most. I'm sure when you watch a film, there's a long list of credit that goes up.
Yes.
Each of those individuals have a job, and that's their specialization.
Specialty, yeah.
So when we get into that level of understanding that I can focus on writing or I can focus on photography and I'll be the best at it, the cash starts to follow you. Not when you're saying, oh, I'm a writer, but I can also photograph, I can also take videos. Then you're kind of lingering everywhere.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
You're referring to it as being a specialty, as in you specialize, you really understand your craft, but there's like a really narrow line between specializing and getting comfortable.
Yeah.
Because then you're sticking to one thing, you're not really challenging yourself, like you mentioned. Let's say I'm into photography and I've really done it, different types of photography, different, let's say I've done events, I've done brand, with commodities and everything, and then I decide to move on to moving images, because that's technically kind of what videography is.
Yeah.
And I've decided to completely specialize in photography. I understand the different fields, but don't you think if I decide to specialize completely on one thing, though it's called specializing, but then again, I'm kind of comfortable. Yeah, I'm increasing my skill set, but then again, is it not narrowing?
There's a level of comfortability, but I think that there's a reason why you'd go into moving images. And it wouldn't be, for me personally, it wouldn't be because I have overdone the photography. It's because you want to do moving images. If you want to do motion pictures, go do motion pictures and focus on it. With the photography, it never gets old. it never gets old. Like, I'll give an example. Like Gael, I don't know if you know him. He's a wildlife photographer here in Rwanda. Amazing dude. He travels the world to go and do the craft that everybody knows for him. And he takes it so serious to a point that he creates, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this on camera, but he creates series with things that, you know, he's photographing. He can look at clay or a tree, and he's gonna spend time photographing that tree in different places, different cities, different countries.
He moves with the object or finds an identical object?
Finds an identical object somewhere.
Okay.
Or these objects will come to him.
Okay.
Wherever he's at, he'll see that, oh, I've done that somewhere. Now let me add it to my series. Let me add this to my series. But it's stuff like that. And then from that, people create books. I've never sat and enjoyed pictures of trees until I saw Gael's photographs. I was just like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. And you could see the shapes. You could see, and that's what a skill is, right? It has trained him to even become a really good cinematographer. Why? Because of the framing that he spent time practicing. He can be a director, right? But it doesn't disconnect him from the main craft that he started with, right? Same as Philippe. Philippe also Starpy, those are his names. The same as him. If you go and look at Philippe's work, he does something with the lines. He photographs a corner and it just becomes beautiful, right? And you're like, I was looking at this corner. But all that is perfecting the skill. Well, you never really get perfect, but like it's spending time. It's spending time doing that thing over and over and learning how to do it good and better all the time. So it's not getting comfortable. It's just really expanding your skill set, right, in a specific field. Now, if you say, cool, I've done this, I've overdone it, I want to get into motion pictures.
Because it challenges me, because then I can learn from scratch.
Absolutely, absolutely. You go ahead and do it, but then also focus on that, right? And then study it to the best of your knowledge, right? What I tend to see is there's never enough to get over a certain craft. Like for me personally, I learn every day on how to make a better documentary. I learn every day on how to tell a better story. I fight a lot with figuring out how to tell emotions on camera. And that's something that I'm spending a lot of time on, is to how do I bring emotions in the audience that are watching my stuff. And that's what that's my thing right now. That's my research right now.
So I think it comes from you, first of all, identifying where your weak point is at, and then you just know where to focus your energy.
Absolutely.
Focus your study and
improvement. And it still lives in my craft. It still lives in cinematography. But how do I make Malaika feel when she's watching something that I've created? And feel could be different things. Getting goosebumps or crying or laughing or just joy. How do I get to that? So that's my research right now to add on to what I already do, right? Because a skill set is something that it's easy. You can set up all these cameras. Next thing you know, you'll be good at doing these cameras. But what is it that you're telling with these cameras? Right? So, and I feel like that spending time is what gets you to that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So spend time with your craft, people. Spend time with your craft.
Don't get comfortable.
Yeah, get comfortable. Okay. Yeah. So I'd like to bring this to a closing. I think it was a really good session.
Yes,
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I've kind of been challenged. So Thank
Go on to this writing journey and become the best writer.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
And most importantly, thank you to our partners, Institut Français, for helping bring all this to life, for helping bring this amazing session, amazing ideas to your screens. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.